The angel with bent legs.
They said he would never walk properly.
In a small mill town in Brazil in 1933, a boy was born with a spine that curved the wrong way. His right leg bent inward, his left leg bent outward, and it was 6 centimeters shorter than the right. The doctors looked at him, and they saw a child who might never run, might never even walk without pain. They were wrong. That boy would grow up to become the most joyfully unstoppable dribbler the game of football has ever produced. His name was Manuel Francisco dos Santos. The world would come to know him by a different name entirely. Garrincha.
A medical impossibility. To understand what made Garrincha impossible to defend, you first have to understand what his body actually was. His spine was malformed. His legs didn't match. One bowed in, one bowed out, one shorter than the other. By any conventional standard of athletic anatomy, this was not the body of a footballer. This was a body doctors expected to struggle with basic movement for life. But football is not a game of straight lines, and Garrincha's legs didn't move like anyone else's. Defenders were trained to read a striker's hips, his shoulders, the angle of his plant foot, to predict where the ball was going next. Garrincha's body gave no such signals. His asymmetry made his movement genuinely unreadable. He wasn't dribbling past defenders. He was breaking the geometry they relied on to defend at all. By 1953, Botafogo signed him. 2 years later, he was in the Brazil national team. The joy of the people. What made Garrincha beloved wasn't just that he won, it was how he played while winning. At the 1958 World Cup, an 18-year-old Pelé arrived alongside him, but it was Garrincha who tore the Soviet Union apart in the group stage, dribbling past defenders within minutes of kickoff. Brazil won that tournament, their first World Cup title. Then came 1962. Pelé was injured, sidelined for most of the tournament, and it was Garrincha, not Brazil's biggest star but its most unpredictable joy, who carried the team. 2 goals against England in the quarterfinals, 2 more against Chile in the semifinal. Brazil lifted the trophy again. Fans didn't just admire him, they adored him. There's a story from a friendly. Before that '58 tournament, Garrincha danced through an entire defense just to prove he could, drawing fury from his own teammates who feared he'd lose the ball trying the same trick in a real match. That was Garrincha. Football for him was never really a job, it was play, and Brazil called him exactly that, the joy of the people. The tragic decline. But joy in Garrincha's story was never far from sorrow. His father had struggled with alcoholism. Garrincha did too, for most of his adult life. A pattern that ran alongside his rise from the very beginning, not one that appeared only at the end. As his playing career wound down through the late 1960s, his body, the same body that had once made him unreadable on the pitch, began to fail him in earnest. Injuries piled up. He drifted between clubs. He retired in 1972. Away from football, his life grew harder still. Multiple marriages. In January 1983, at just 49 years old, Garrincha died of cirrhosis of the liver. The man who had given Brazil 2 World Cups had spent his final years largely forgotten by the sport he'd once made magical. The legacy of Garrincha. And yet, forgotten is not how history remembers him. When Garrincha played his farewell match in 1973, over 130,000 people filled the Maracanã to say goodbye. Today, Brazil's national stadium in Brasilia carries his name. Pelé is remembered as the greatest, but ask many Brazilians who they love to watch him, and the answer still is Garrincha. Not because of trophies alone, because he played like a man who'd been told his whole life what his body couldn't do, and turned every single one of those limits into the exact thing that made him unstoppable. The angel with bent legs, the joy of the people. Garrincha never should have walked, instead he flew. Subscribe Fabled Pitch for more deep dives into football's richest, most untold stories.